Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Ridgen with a look at what APTN National news reporters are working on for you. RCMP in Nunavut continue to be in the news. Last week, a mistaken arrest led to 23-year-old Inuit hunter being pinned down at gunpoint by Nunavut RCMP. This week, we have some more to follow about the relationship between Inuit and the police. APTN's Kent Driscoll has this update.
Hi, I'm Kent Driscoll, here in Iqaluit, just outside of the Nunavut Legislative Assembly. Now, just over my shoulder down the street is the headquarters for Nunavut's V Division RCMP, and they've been in the spotlight recently. First, late last week, a group of 4 former officers from Nunavut filed a case in federal court suing the RCMP, saying that their claims of post-traumatic stress disorder were ignored and that they were ridiculed for seeking help. There was also a report outlining how Nunavut RCMP have been ignoring federal standards on strip searches and the removal of clothing in cells. They're supposed to keep a record, and the report says those records are scarce. Now, that's just some of what we're planning to bring you this week on APTN National News. We'll also be following the COVID-19 story here in Nunavut. As you may know, outside of Nunavut's mines, we do not have a positive case of COVID-19 here in the territory. And as always, Nunavut is full of surprises. If any of those surprises pop up, we'll bring them to you right here. Now back to you in Winnipeg.
Thanks for that, Kent. Our White House reporter Sara Connors will have this story for you on tonight's news. Here's a preview.
Today, I'm working on a story about an Indigenous business owner in the Yukon who's joined forces with 20 other female-owned Indigenous businesses and entrepreneurs, and they're calling on major Canadian retailers to devote 15% of their shelf space to Indigenous-owned businesses. So this pledge was inspired by a pledge in the U.S., which was sparked by the death of George Floyd. And this pledge called on major retailers in the U.S. to devote some of their shelf space to businesses that were owned by Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Canada has a terrible track record of Indigenous representation in the retail space. For instance, Hudson's Bay Company, which carries about 1,800 brands, only one is Indigenous owned. And other major retailers like Holt Renfrew, Simons, and this one right here, they don't carry any. So we'll have more for you on that story coming soon on APTN National News.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll have that story for you tonight. And finally, coming up this Wednesday on our season premiere of In Focus, Dr. Barry LaValle took some time to talk with us about COVID and how to keep safe and sane during this stressful time. Here's a clip from an interview with him where Dr. LaValle discusses the need for people to take care of each other.
The values that our elders and the people who lead us with our knowledges across this country talk about kindness. And they talk about respect, they talk about forgiveness. And really, as individuals, as First Nations, Métis, and Inuit individuals, we have to start practicing kindness now. Even if you feel fear or you feel uncertainty, it's practicing kindness. But I also want to share that one of the really important things for our people across Canada is that we have to repatriate who we are, our values. We have to repatriate our beliefs in a creator, and we have to go to those in our community who understand those values to help us take care of our families and to reach out. I know it's fearful right now, but reach out to people that you think might need help. Even if it's a phone call or stand 6 feet away from the door and talk with somebody, offer them food.
Some wise words there. We will have that and more for you coming up tonight and all week on APTN National News. For updates anytime, you can always download the APTN News app or go to aptnnews.ca. I'm Melissa Ridgen. See you tonight on APTN National News at 6 Eastern and Mountain Time.